There's no sharpening to this. Okay.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramamsa Parivrajakacarya Sutarasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Asutarasata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kura Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sakoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shivasari Gora Bhaktamananda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vandamandam Ki Jai. Madhuradam Ki Jai. Navadidam Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtana Yagya Ki Jai. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gora Premanandi. Hare 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 Bol. All glories to the Assembodivaris. Hare Krishna. All glories to the Assembodivaris. Hare Krishna. All glories to the Assembodivaris. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Bhakti Kairanda Swami Namaste. Saraswati Gurvani Vrajari Nani Vishesha Shunari Vashadri Stari. Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear friends. Please write Hare Krishna into the comment section. Shamdai Hare Krishna. Ruda Prakash Katie, Michelle Williams, Manoj Dange, Dan. Anybody else? We're also streaming on YouTube. There's Rebecca. Frank is back. Orange. Hare Krishna, dear friends. Alexandra, Danny, Gabriela, Markun Sebronwin. Thank you for tagging everybody. If you remember any devotee from the previous sessions, please tag him or her. Nirjala, Hare Krishna, Nirjala. So we have the Caitanya Caritamrta class today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from the Caitanya Caritamrta, Adi Lila chapter 4, text 35. Here the use of the verb bhavit, which is in the imperative mood, tells us that this certainly must be done. Non-compliance would be abandonment of duty. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Binod Kumar and Manoj Dange. This imperative is applicable to pure devotees. Neophytes will be able to understand these affairs only after being elevated by regulated devotional service under the expert guidance of the spiritual master. Then they too will be competent to hear of the love affairs of Radha and Krishna. As long as one is in a material conditional life, strict discipline is required in the matter of moral and immoral activities. The absolute world is transcendental and free from such distinctions because there inebriety is not possible. But in this material world, a sexual appetite necessitates distinction between moral and immoral conduct. There are no sexual activities in the spiritual world. The transactions between lover and beloved in the spiritual world are pure transcendental love and unadulterated bliss. One who has not been attracted by the transcendental beauty of rasa will certainly be dragged down into material attraction, thus to act in material contamination and progress to the darkest region of hellish life. But by understanding the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, one is freed from the grip of attraction to material so-called love between man and woman. Similarly, if one understands the pure parental love of Nanda and Yashoda for Krishna, he will be saved from being dragged into material parental affection. If one accepts Krishna as the supreme friend, the attraction of material friendship will be finished for him, and he will not be dismayed by so-called friendship with mundane wranglers. If he is attracted by servitorship to Krishna, he will no longer have to serve the material body in the degraded status of material existence with the false hope of becoming master in the future. Similarly, one who sees the greatness of Krishna in neutrality will certainly never again seek the so-called relief of impersonalist or voidist philosophy. If one is not attracted by the transcendental nature of Krishna, one is sure to be attracted to material enjoyment, thus to become implicated in the clinging network of virtuous and sinful activities and continue material existence by transmigrating from one material body to another. Only in Krishna consciousness can one achieve the highest perfection of life. Next, just as these desires are the fundamental reason for Krishna's appearance, whereas destroying the demons is only an incidental necessity, so for Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, promulgating the dharma of the age is incidental. When the Lord desired to appear for another reason, the time for promulgating the religion of the age also arose. Thus, with two intentions, the Lord appeared with His devotees and tasted the nectar of prema with the congregational chanting of the holy name. Thus He spread kirtan even amongst the untouchables. He wove a wreath of the holy name and prema with which He garlanded the entire material world. In this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, He preached devotional service while practicing it Himself. Purport by His Divine Grace. When Rupa Goswami met Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag, Allahabad, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya was more magnanimous than any other avatar of Krishna because he was distributing love of Krishna. His mission was to enhance love of Godhead. In a human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of religion, as people sometimes assume. Religious systems are meant to show the existence of God, who is then generally approached as the cosmic order supplier. But Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental mission is to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Anyone who accepts God as the Supreme can take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna and become a lover of God. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the most magnanimous. This munificent broadcasting of devotional service is possible only for Krishna himself. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has taught the philosophy of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who has surrendered to the Supreme can make further progress by learning to love Him. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya is especially meant for those who are cognizant of the presence of the Supreme Godhead, the ultimate controller of everything. His mission is to teach people how to dovetail themselves into engagements of transcendental loving service. He is Krishna teaching his own service from the position of a devotee. The Lord's acceptance of the role of a devotee in the eternal form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is another of the Lord's wonderful features. A conditioned soul cannot reach the absolute personality of Godhead by his imperfect endeavor. And therefore it is wonderful that Lord Sri Krishna in the form of Lord Gauranga has made it easy for everyone to approach him. Swarup Damodar Goswami has described Lord Chaitanya as Krishna himself with the attitude of Radharani, or a combination of Radha and Krishna. His intention is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. Lord Chaitanya does not care to think of himself as Krishna because he wants the position of Radharani. We should remember this. A class of so-called devotees called Nadya Nagari or Gora Nagari pretend that they have the sentiment of gopis toward Lord Chaitanya, but they do not realize that he placed himself not as the enjoyer Krishna, but as the enjoyed, the devotee of Krishna. The concoctions of unauthorized persons pretending to be bona fide have not been accepted by Lord Chaitanya. Presentations such as those of the Gora Nagari are only disturbances to the sincere execution of the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is undoubtedly Krishna himself, and he is always non-different from Srimati Radharani. But the emotion technically called Vipralamba Bhav, which the Lord adopted for confidential reasons, should not be disturbed in the name of service. A mundaner should not unnecessarily intrude into affairs of transcendence and thereby displease the Lord. One must always be on guard against this sort of devotional anomaly. A devotee is not meant to create disturbances to Krishna. As Srila Rupa Goswami has explained, devotional service is anukulena, or favorable to Krishna. Acting unfavorably towards Krishna is not devotion. Kamsa was the enemy of Krishna. He always thought of Krishna, but he thought of him as an enemy. One should always avoid such unfavorable so-called service. Lord Chaitanya has accepted the role of Radharani, and we should support that position, as Swarup Damodar did in the Gambhira, the house of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Puri. He always reminded Lord Chaitanya of Radha's feelings of separation as they are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Chaitanya appreciated his assistance. But the Gora Nagaris, who place Lord Chaitanya in the position of enjoyer and themselves as is enjoyed, are not approved by Lord Chaitanya or by Lord Chaitanya's followers. Instead of being blessed, the foolish imitators are left completely apart. Their concoctions are against the principles of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The doctrine of transcendental enjoyment by Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendental feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Radharani. Om Agyantirinandasya Gyanajana Shalakayam Chakshunar Meritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. Jai Shri Prabhupada. So, Gora Nagaris. This chanting of Hare Krishna is called a Yuga Dharma. This is the prescribed method of attaining self-realization, God realization in this particular yuga, this age, Kali Yuga. Manda sumanna matayo. People are very fallen. They have no desire to attain spiritual perfection. And even if there's a slight interest, they become victimized by some Yogananda or Shmogananda or Gora Nagari. So many rascals are there. So we are very fortunate to be in the association of an Uttamadhikari, pure devotee, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We should never deviate from this. That will be a great loss. Great loss. Srila Prabhupada has come. He is a pure devotee. What is the use of risking our spiritual life by going anywhere else? But the nature of Kali Yuga is such that those who are slightly inclined, but not fully inclined, they become victimized by all these bogus rascals. So for this reason, the acharyas have left behind all these nice scriptures, nice commentaries, to protect the future candidates from the onslaught of cheating. Srila Rupa Goswami wrote the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. We call it the science of Bhakti Yoga. It is the science. It is not blind sentiment. Foolish people, they become victimized by blind sentiments. Sincere devotees, those who are serious, they will understand through reading, through association with great devotees. So in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Prabhupada translated as Nectar of Devotion, The science of bhakti is very clearly delineated, very clearly described. And if you study this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu very carefully daily, then there is no chance of becoming victimized by any of these cheaters. Those who become victimized, they do not read Srila Prabhupada's books regularly. Or they do not come to our stream regularly. They have so many duties, so many distractions. We must put our spiritual life as a priority in our life. That is number one. The spirit soul is animating the material body. Even the word anima is coming from the word soul. So because the body is moving, there is a soul. We can understand there's a soul in the body. As soon as the soul leaves the body is useless. So the soul is the important particle, not the body. The body is simply a tool. We know from the Bhagavad Gita that when this body is finished, no longer usable, the soul takes another body. Tata dehantara prapti. So it doesn't matter, even if this body is not working properly, we will take another body. So the soul is always a priority. And if we live spiritual life, if we want to practice spiritual life, then the spiritual activities should also be priority, not material activities. Unfortunately, we're coming from the background of complete godlessness, complete materialism, lives that have been lived simply for gratification of the senses. So we take to Krishna consciousness with the idea that Krishna can fulfill our material desires. This is a problem. All the neophyte devotees, they're facing this problem because they have material desires and at the same time they want to make spiritual progress. We're not coming to Krishna consciousness in a liberated condition exactly. Krishna explains there are 4 types of men who approach me. Do you know what they are?
Those looking
you take
for
the
wealth.
mic, no?
Those looking for...
For what? Wealth?
Wealth.
Yes.
Ah.
Wealth.
Wealth.
Fame.
Fame.
Yes, fame.
Then there's the two of knowledge, but one is actual knowledge and one is just kind of like a self-knowledge. Right?
No, what does Krishna say?
I don't remember the exact word for the third. But the fourth is knowledge. The fourth is knowledge.
What is knowledge?
Yeah.
Wealth? What else?
Wealth, fame, I don't remember the third, and fourth knowledge.
No. He mentions four men. You know, the one is, he wants wealth. That is correct. Another one is, he's in distress. He has some depression. He is frustrated. So he thinks that by taking up Krishna consciousness, all the bliss points to Gabriela, Neil, and I think Doris. No, Gabriela, yes. So he thinks that by taking up Krishna consciousness, Krishna will take my distress. That's why we say chant Hare Krishna and be happy. to induce him to chant Hare Krishna. But that is not the purpose of chanting, to be materially happy. Hare Krishna will make you spiritually happy. What does it mean to be spiritually happy?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh. We must have some inspiration to practice spiritual life. We must know, we want this. This is bliss. We have made our movement, bliss movement. So, what is that bliss?
It's to...
Yeah, Ruda Prakash and Mark Kunsa, they have quoted the shloka. Thank you so much. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukatino juna. Arto jigyasu artati jnani cha bharatasarabaha. Bharatarshabaha. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me. The distress, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Okay, so one more time. Who are these 4?
The distressed.
The distressed.
Those looking for wealth.
Wealth, yeah.
The curious.
Curious, yeah.
Those looking for knowledge.
Yes, yes, very good. So when one comes to the position of a jnani, then he can stay in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise he cannot even stay. It is not that we should stay in this designation that, oh, I want distress. At a certain, I want relief from distress. At a certain point, we should understand what this Krishna consciousness movement is all about. Gabriela says, spiritual happiness means self-realization. We are eternal souls, not this body, and then prema. Yes. But let us go a little deeper. What is prema? What is love of Godhead? That is explained by Krishna-das Kaviraj Goswami. Prema means, what is the difference between lust and love?
Lust and love. Lust is material.
No, that we already mentioned, yeah. But more specifically, what does it mean? What does Krishna Kaviraj Goswami say? Dhananjaya knows already. Anybody wants to take a guess? Gabriela says, love means service. Yes, very good. Service to whom? Service to my senses, right? I love very much my senses. Yes? Okay, no. Desiring Krishna's pleasure. Yes, Shamdai. More specifically, Krishna-das Kaviraj Goswami says that pleasing Krishna's senses. Krishna has senses, transcendental senses, just like you have senses. Right? You want to take nice halava with your tongue. That's your sense. You want to see a beautiful girl or beautiful boy with your eyes. But Krishna also has senses. As Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna is not a senseless nonsense. The impersonalists, they think God is a senseless nonsense. So he's not like that. He's a sensual being. Krishna is a sensual being. Not like us. Not a perverted sensual being. Transcendentally sensual. Otherwise our service, when we serve Krishna, it does not make any sense. If Krishna cannot taste, if Krishna cannot see, if Krishna cannot hear, then why are we serving? So prema means satisfying Krishna's senses. And lust means satisfying my senses. This is the real definition of spiritual versus material. Yeah, Rudra Prakash got it right. Person's own sense enjoyment is lust, and serving Krishna is prema. Yeah, more specifically, serving Krishna's transcendental senses. So this is very, very important, although it seems very basic and very simple. If we do not understand this principle, then we run into various difficulties throughout our advancement in Krishna consciousness. Here, the Nadia Nagari or Gora Nagari have been mentioned. So these are the types of Sajya group that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur smashed by his powerful writing. There were 13 different Apasampradayas. After Lord Chaitanya left, 13 Apasampradayas have sprouted. Katie, I don't understand your question. Maybe you can elaborate and you can ask this question later on. Okay? So, one of them was this Gora Nagari group. And the Gora Nagari group, they're very similar to the Saki Beki also. These are people who dressed as gopis. Men, they also dress as gopis. Okay, Katie has to go. Hare Krishna, Katie. And they think that they can allure Krishna with their ugly bodies. They think that Krishna is so foolish. They think that Krishna is lusty after sex life. And their whole sampradaya, or whatever they want to call it, is based on this principle. Actually, they want to enjoy with Krishna. They want Krishna as their sense-gratifying agent. It's very wrong. The gopis were never thinking of how to enjoy Krishna. See, even the gopis. Here, the mundane women, they think, oh, how to enjoy a man. They're thinking of their own pleasure. But the gopis, they were thinking only of Krishna's pleasure. Nothing else, not of their own pleasure. That is the difference between contaminated so-called love here in this material world and pure love, Krishna prema. So all these sajya means a so-called devotee who thinks that this process of devotion is very cheap, is a cheap thing. I simply put on some woman's sari and I become a great devotee just by doing that. See, the coward boys that are with Krishna in his lila, Shukara Goswami says, Krita Kripa Punya. They have amassed heaps of pious activities. They have been performing pious activities for thousands and thousands of lifetimes. Millions of lifetimes. To get that opportunity to play with Krishna. And you think that simply by putting some makeup and a woman's sari, that looks ridiculous, by the way, you can induce Krishna to come. So people become so foolish. And that is because they have these material desires. They do not come to the position of Jnani. They stay in the material platform. That is the difficulty. So Krishna consciousness means while we're approaching Krishna, while we're studying about Krishna, we should simultaneously give up our material motives, our material attachments. That is real jnana. Otherwise, whatever you study in Krishna consciousness, that will be stolen by that motive. Maya aprita jnana. Whatever you study, whatever you read, will always be tinged by this motive. Oh, I want Krishna to satisfy my desires. That is not possible. Yesterday we were discussing the shloka about Mahatmas, great souls, pure devotees. So it was stated there in the 9th chapter, this word ananya. One must practice Krishna consciousness without any deviation. You cannot deviate. There is no hoops, I'm sorry, in a purified stage. You must be perfect. Krishna is perfect, Bhakti is perfect, Shastra is perfect. You also must be perfect. Even Lord Jesus, He was also preaching like this. He said, be perfect as our Lord, our God the Father, in other words Krishna, is perfect. Perfection is required. Right now we're very much imperfect. We make so many mistakes. So, but there is perfection. And we must become perfect. So, we should not be confused by the Sajya class of people who take Krishna consciousness very cheaply. We must approach very, very carefully, especially these confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Lord Chaitanya came in the mood of Radharani, Vipralamba Bhav. Vipralamba Bhav means the ecstasy of separation. Lord Chaitanya wanted to taste the highest emotion in Krishna consciousness. And the highest emotion in Krishna consciousness is separation from Krishna. You might have read this pastime of Srimati Radharani chastising the bumblebee. When Uddhava, Krishna's cousin, who looked very similar to Krishna, came to pacify the gopis with a letter written by Krishna. Srimati Radharani, she experienced this feeling of separation from Krishna. They were all absorbed in this Vipralamba Bhav, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. When Krishna left, He left for a reason, to increase their ecstasy of love. The Vipralamba Bhav is higher than meeting. There is of course meeting with Krishna in the spiritual world, but the separation from Krishna is higher because the emotion a devotee feels is higher than Krishna himself. These are the secrets of the acharyas. So these foolish sajias, they don't understand. They want to meet immediately. They want close proximity. They want physicality. All these things. And they make the whole affair mundane. A pure devotee is always thinking of himself as insignificant and he does not want to impose on Krishna. He always wants to keep himself in distance. Same thing can be said about the acharya. One should not be very eager to have the physical association of the acharya. That is not a good mood. Oh, I must be with Prabhupada physically 24 hours. That is not a good mood. You are just like a fly, a mosquito. So long you have these material desires, you simply create disturbance. You are a burden for Krishna, for his pure devotees. So you should feel like this, that I am very contaminated. Only if by their mercy I am called into their association, I will go and render some service. Not that it is my right. Anyone who says, it is my right, he's a fool. Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna does not want disturbance in the spiritual world. So he will test you 1,000,000 times before he gives you the admittance to the spiritual world. You must be pure. So always we should cultivate this attitude of awe and reverence for Krishna, for his devotees, for the spiritual master. This is a safe platform. And if we rush where where angels do not dare to tread. How is it? Tread.
Fools rush in where angels fear to tread.
Yes, then our spiritual life will be destroyed. There's so many of these rascals, even you can see on Facebook. They posting these pictures, Radha, Krishna, love, 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 just love. What? You have no idea. For you, love means gratification of my senses. Selfish, complete selfishness, bodily platform. It's not even selfishness because you are not this body. You are the spirit soul. So it's simply bodily gratification. And you mistake that for love. And what to speak of comparing it to the Krishna prema or the mood of the devotees in these highly elevated platforms of Krishna consciousness. So Lord Chaitanya came to taste this vipralamba bhav, the emotion of separation. He comes as in the mood of the enjoyed. He comes in a mood of a devotee because he wanted to taste that. Krishna wanted to taste that. So these Gora Nagaris, they're so foolish. They're disturbing Lord Chaitanya because they want him to be the enjoyer. They think, oh, we know this Lord Chaitanya is Krishna because Krishna is Purusha, he is the enjoyer. So now we will serve him in that capacity. No. That is not the mood. You must know about the mood. If you want to serve someone, you must know the mood. It is not that, oh, he likes this. Suppose you want to serve me and you know that I like samosas. It's not that I can take samosas anytime, any place. There must be a mood also. We must observe, we must understand the mood, and then we learn from the spiritual master. Srila Rupa Goswami gives this definition. Anya bilasita shunyam jnana karmari anuvatam. Anukuliyana krishnanu shilanam bhakti rutama. That is the pure devotional service. It must be anukuliyana. Favorable. Favorable means it must be pleasing to Krishna, not to yourself. If you think that, well, I feel great pleasure rendering this service, it's good for me, that's not necessarily pleasing to Krishna. That is why we study all these books. That is why we hear from Srila Prabhupada, because we must learn how to serve. Even this chanting of Hare Krishna, we encourage everyone, yes, come on, chant. But there is also a science how to chant. Srila Prabhupada published in his that was actually the first issue of the Back to Godhead magazine. There is a whole article called The Science of Congregational Chanting. I highly recommend you to read this article. The 10 offenses I explain in detail there what it means. We want to avoid the offenses against the chanting because we want Krishna prema. We don't want to simply chant for thousands of lifetimes without any benefit. We want Krishna prema. But that Krishna prema, you have to give up offenses. And if you don't know what these offenses are, then how can you avoid them? So it's a science. We must chant under the guidance of the Acharya. That is called offenseless chanting. Only when the chanting is offenseless, it is pleasing to Krishna. See, this is where it shows whether the devotee is sincere or whether he's just pretending. Because a pretender, he just goes with the mechanical execution. Mechanically going on. Anyone can put on a show. A real devotee is concerned. Is Krishna satisfied with my service? Is the Guru satisfied with my service? How do we know that the Guru is satisfied with our service? The Guru's associates are satisfied. All the devotees. If the devotees are disturbed, then rest assured the Guru is also not pleased with your service. And when the Guru is displeased, then forget Krishna. Krishna is 1,000,000 miles away from you. So always remember this. Always inquire, how can I serve? How can I improve my service? Don't be satisfied. Oh, I know everything. I know how to chant. Come on. Don't tell me, Purujit. Who do you think I am? I'm not a neophyte. No, you always keep yourself in the mood of a neophyte. That is safe position. Lord Chaitanya showed this also. He said to Prakashananda Saraswati, because Prakashananda Saraswati challenged. You are a sannyasi and you hear dancing and chanting like a monkey. He thought like this, that this kirtan is in mundane chanting and dancing. He thought it was a house party, some techno party or something. So Lord Chaitanya, he answered, he said, my Guru Maharaj, he told me that you are fool number one. Don't touch the Vedanta. Because that's what the sannyasis are supposed to do. They're supposed to read the Vedanta. The impersonalists, they're called Vedantists. Of course, they do not have the monopoly on Vedanta, but generally speaking, they're called Vedantists because they study the Vedanta Sutra. So Lord Chaitanya is my Guru, he said, you're fool number one, don't touch the Vedanta because you will misunderstand and mislead everyone. Simply you chant Hare Krishna. And I did that. And I became ecstatic. And I cannot stop chanting this wonderful Maha mantra. Maha mantra. So he's showing by example. Always keep yourself as a fool number one. Don't ever claim to be advanced. That is an advanced devotee. The advancement is internal. You don't have to propagate. As soon as I hear this, oh, I am advanced, immediately, my detector, bogus detector is activated. As soon as someone says, I'm a senior devotee, I've been chanting for so many years, I am a sannyasi, I am this, I am that. He's simply talking about himself. Why don't you talk about Krishna? Who cares for yourself? That means that he wants to be glorified. Neophyte. Again, he wants to satisfy his senses. What is this? Name and fame. Simply gratification. So look at Srila Prabhupada. Whenever Prabhupada is glorified, he says, I have no credit. Whatever I have done is simply the mercy of my spiritual master. I have no credit. Always. This is humility, real humility. So always keep humble and don't associate with these rascal sajias. Anyone who's discussing, of course, these leelas are there. Radha Krishna, Rasa Leela, the gopis, and so on, so on. But those who present these topics to the neophytes without introducing them to the science of bhakti, they're rascals. Generally speaking, everybody is interested in sex affairs. As soon as we have a class on relationships between husband and wife, immediately we have 20, 40 viewers on the live stream. Those of you who come regularly, you know that. We speak about nature of women. And yeah, so many questions immediately pop up. So many questions. No, sex is very attractive for the conditioned souls. So, if you discuss these transcendental love affairs with the neophytes, they will misunderstand their own lusty desires as very advanced spiritual ecstasies. So that is why these rascals are doing that. Nobody is interested in purification, following the rules and regulations, surrender. Surrender. Nobody likes to surrender. Nobody wants to follow some spiritual master. What is this? Nobody wants regulation in their life. But if you speak of sex life, oh yes, very nice. So these rascals are taking advantage of people's weaknesses. Don't become victimized. Always inquire, how can I serve and how can I improve my service? Don't want anything. Whatever you're supposed to get, you will get by the law of karma. That is already coming your way. Don't try for it. And whatever distress you have, you deserve. Whatever distress you have, you deserve that. It is because of your sinful activities, you're suffering. From previous lives. Don't be angry. If you're angry against Krishna. Why do I have to suffer this? Why? Yes, because you're a rascal, you're suffering your karma. Krishna is giving you bad karma. So if you're angry towards Krishna. You're not a devotee either. Srila Prabhupada said that anyone who's morose, he's not a devotee, he's a pretender, he's an opportunist. You must be prasanatma. If you're truly situated in Krishna consciousness, you must be always in bliss. Yes, you must be. So, yes, so we should study, understand, stick to the lotus feet of a bona fide guru, and strictly avoid association of such cheap so-called devotees. Any questions?
I have one question.
Yes?
Thank you for the last class. So there's this verse that if you be a full of material desires, no desire, or you will desire liberation, somehow or other worship Krishna.
Yes.
So Bhagavatam, but how to understand that? Because but at the same time we know that if someone is just chanting with offenses, with material desires, then also he will go away, right?
Yes.
So, but that shloka says just continue somehow worship Krishna. So
yes.
I don't understand. Is it good then, or should one give up these desires?
Give up the desire. Who's telling you to give up Krishna consciousness? Or give up the nonsense desires?
Okay, but
if you are trying to ignite fire and you're pouring water inside, that is foolishness. But don't stop trying to ignite the fire.
So that's what it means. Like, so someone is, let's say, recognizes, oh, I have some material desire. Then
And you got it. Don't keep it.
So then he must by himself consciously he must realize.
Of course.
Oh, this is nonsense.
Yeah.
Let me give it up. It's
Yeah.
not that he just chants with
No.
sex desire and just
No.
go on chanting his rounds and then ultimately will purify himself.
No.
That's not.
It's Krishna consciousness. You must be conscious. It's not automatic. Automatic means material. You think that, oh, someone else will do it for me. Any other question? There's a question here from Frank is back. Where would I be able to get a copy of the article you mentioned in Back to Godhead about congregational chanting and the offenses of chanting? It's in the Back to Godhead magazine. You can find it online. PrabhupadaBooks.com. Go to the PrabhupadaBooks.com, Back to Godhead division, and their first issue. There's an article called Congregational Chanting. Science of Congregational Chanting. Any other questions? No other questions?
How to I have a question here.
Yes.
How do you give up material desires?
You have to associate with those who are akinchana, those who have no material desires, just like our Srila Prabhupada. He has no material desires, so you have to associate with him. We associate in two ways, by Vani and by Vapu. So Vapu might not be here all the time, but Vani you can take advantage all the time. So by hearing, you also become akinchana.
But if someone has no taste for hearing?
Then he is a fool number one. Fool number one, doomed. No chance. Hell. Destination, hellish planets.
How to increase taste for hearing?
You must render service to the devotees. Alexandra, if we are only wishing to be with Krishna and we chant on this, won't our life just end? No, your life will begin. Be with Krishna is not enough. Devotees are not desiring to be with Krishna. They're desiring to serve Krishna. Being with Krishna and serving Krishna are two different things. Being is that's impersonalism. Being with Krishna. But serving Krishna, that is what we should pray for. And you can serve Krishna here, or you can serve in the spiritual world, doesn't matter. It's the same. What kind of material desires should we have? None. Don't have any material desire. Any other question? Harinam is Chintamani, and if we chant and think of material desires, we can see they will become real, but we should be careful what we wish for. Yes, exactly. Okay. Grantaraj Sri Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gora Premanandi Hari 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 Bo, Namaste Pare Krishna Vishtai Gurti, Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Guruvani Marichari Nani Vishesha Shunavani Bhashati. Mhm.